Good morning. Hello, YouTube. To everybody out there. I am wide awake at this point. It is 2 something in the morning. I couldn't sleep. I had a nightmare which woke me up, and I'm wide awake because me and my husband went to bed early last night, probably around 8:30. That's our new bedtime. And I'm awake, so I've been like, let me just speak what's on my mind. I had a nightmare about the passing of my mother, which was pretty, devastating. Because those dreams are always devastating. You have them all the time, and then they mean nothing sometimes. But still, you can't help how frantic you are when you wake up out of a dream like that. This is my second video I'll be posting today. It's Wednesday, the 17th. And I'm making me a pot of coffee. I hope everyone is well. If you woke up this morning, then you should be saying a special thank you to God above, who allowed you to wake up and have another opportunity to share your story and get it right. I want to show this. This is a ring. I was at my job. This was about 2 years ago. Not 2 years ago. What am I talking about? 2 weeks ago. And I was outside taking trash to the dump because I'm one of the managers at my job. And I was taking trash, cardboard, to the dumpster. And I was so like, I don't know, not really troubled, but trouble had my mind at the moment. I was just thinking, about things and possibilities, and just how our minds can be sometimes, not so good thoughts, because just in my zone thinking, and I was just down. And then at that very moment, there was a guy who pulled up behind me, and he was an older white guy, and he was like, "Hi, ma'am, do you know where Tokyo's Grill is?" Or it was something along those lines. And I didn't at the moment, but I looked around, and turns out I was standing directly in front of Tokyo Grill, and I was like, right here. I just pointed right there, right where I was standing. And he was like, "Oh my God, thank you. I should have seen that." He was like, "Can I pull over and speak to you for a minute?" And I was like, "Sure." And he pulled over into the thingy and was like, "Can I give you a ring?" I said, "Sure." And he pulled out a bag of these rings. This is nice. It's got Jesus on it. And so, no matter what, I really do think that was like a message from God to me. That's what I took it as. I mean, people might think that I'm overthinking it or being a little bit like, I don't know, dramatic about it. But I think that's a sign. At that very moment, it just could not have been better timing. So I slid it on my finger, and I went about my day at peace. So it's sentimental to me. He just gave it to me for free. He wasn't trying to sell them. He just gave it to me. So I like it. So everything's been good. Still living, my newlywed life. Happy and thankful. The Lord is good. So, yeah. Grateful for this opportunity once again. So I want to talk about, I want to, kind of continue down the path of the trauma of your mind as a child. Yeah, so I just can't help but speak on this. I love coleslaw. And this is one of the things that I remember that stuck out to me in my childhood. That kind of that made me carry a lot of my hurt for so long. And this may seem simple to a lot of people, and maybe it is, but this is like little things, little small things like this that little children minds, they never forget, and it kind of stems off into your adulthood, and you're just like, once you become an adult, you realize, oh my God, all right, yeah, that was simple, but the way it damaged my mind was it was taunting for me as a teenager and stuff like that. And my siblings know about this, but I remember like we were really, really less fortunate, growing up. And I remember one of those hungry days. I was in the kitchen and I was like, let me look through the refrigerator. What is in here to eat? So I opened the refrigerator. There was nothing in there. Like, when I mean nothing, I mean absolutely nothing in there. We were just playing through the house, like we always do. But then a light flashed before my eyes, and I looked and I spot a little cup like this, like the little 4-ounce cups that come from KFC, or that at least back when I was little, they were like little 4-ounce styrofoam cups. And there was a KFC coleslaw in the refrigerator. And I felt like the Lord had blessed me, y'all. I was like, oh, I got some coleslaw. So I ate it because it had been sitting in there actually, it's been in there for days. I seen it. I just didn't think to eat it because I guess wasn't as hungry at the time, so I didn't want it at the time. But I ate the coleslaw. And I'm like, oh, feeling is gone. I'm not hungry anymore. Thank you, Lord. That was a blessing. That's what I'm thinking in my head, right? A couple hours later, I heard a very angry voice go, who ate my coleslaw? My heart dropped. I was like, oh shoot, that's Mom. Lo and behold, it was her. Who the hell ate my coleslaw? I forgot. I think I was like, I did. I told her. So I ain't never had my behind cut so bad behind food. This woman beat the crap out of me because I ate her coleslaw. Oh, it wasn't, oh baby, you was hungry. I'm sorry, I'm gonna cook something later. Or, all right, well, I know I'm hungry too, but that's my daughter and she was hungry. She ate the coleslaw. All right, it was, I'm gonna whip your behind for eating. No, not, oh, I'm sorry, there's no food, none of that. I'm gonna get my belt, I'm gonna lay it to your behind because you're hungry. That's what I felt. And that's one of the things that happened in my life when I was a kid that really, really broke my heart and disturbed me for a long time. Because I'm like, my little child brain never understood why I was wrong and why I got a whooping. So that was another little thing on top of it that made me like really sad. Like, what did I do? Like, I'm being punished for being hungry. Should I not be hungry? Like, what should I do? So yeah, it's actually very sentimental to talk about. Not that I'm gonna cry, nothing like that, but it's very sentimental to talk about it. But it's therapeutic for me because it's like I never verbally talked about it. I never verbally talked about it as an adult. My sisters know about it. They were like, she really did cut your behind over coleslaw. And I was, yeah, I think my oldest sister and the younger one right up under me might remember. But that was terrible. That was terrible. I'm like, dang, you know how messed up your mind gotta be for your head to go there when your child eat food. that you wanted for yourself, knowing there was nothing in the house. Mental health, y'all. We gotta work on it. We gotta go get mental health. We gotta get therapy. We gotta fix these. Our lives is a product of how we think. And terrible thoughts, terrible life, terrible decisions, so on and so forth. But enough about that part of it. I got some things written down here because I know that if I don't, then I won't be able to cover the things that I want to talk about. So, we're gonna continue to go, talk about the childhood damage because, that's what makes the story, right? The escape. I'm gonna call this video The Escape because I literally think God orchestrated an escape plan for us, because I don't know if things would have gotten any worse at this moment that I'm about to speak about, then there probably would not have been any coming back for us, because it was bad. Like at the time when we escaped, it was bad. It was bad. Like things that no one would ever want to wish up on their worst enemy. I'll just say that. This was, oh God, what year was this? This was 2007. I want to say, I don't want to be wrong, it was 2006 or 2007. It was coming around Christmas time, so I'm believing it was the month of December. My big sister can remember more than I do, but we were just chilling. All of us were just chilling. We were living in Orangeburg on this road called Aquenta Drive at the time. And there was a Christmas tree, because Christmas time was coming up, and there was a bunch of gifts and stuff up under it. And we're just hanging out, just chilling. A typical day. Can't even remember what day of the week it was. But there was, all I could hear was, I heard her cry out loud. It was my mother. She went, "Oh Lord, I'm gonna die. They're gonna take my children." Turns out, and she fell out, like laid out by the back door. As they were standing there, and they just kind of came in and then bombarded the house. They started like looking for something they claimed that was stolen or whatever the case may have been, which I don't think was the case to begin with. But they tore up all the presents that was under the tree, just like tearing up everything to see what was under there. And turns out none of the stuff that they were looking for were there, but it was the police. And then they notified DSS, which is Child Protective Services. They came in, and they brought a van, and they started loading us up, while this woman, my mom, is in the background freaking out. She's freaking out, screaming, crying. And I'm gonna take a little pause here. During that moment, it was a little bit confusing for me. Like, of course, we were terrified. Like, I was mortified. I think we all were mortified at that moment, except for the little ones who was too small to understand what was going on. The bigger kids, like me and my sister, we understood what was going on, but we were being treated so badly during that time. I didn't understand how. I didn't never expected her to react the way she reacted because we were being treated so terribly, so terribly. And I was just like, how do you, oh wow, this is how you feel about us? Like, I mean, it wasn't like beating us up every day and stuff like that, but there, along the line, we were still hungry. We were still like not being treated like children. The house was a complete mess, y'all. I'm talking about things you would not think you would walk into a house and see. Like just some things I don't even want to remember, but yeah, and like I just didn't understand her reaction at this time because I'm like, oh my God, Mom, the same house. Like this was even a few months ago. I had walked up to Fred's because Fred's is over there by LaQuinta Drive. It's like a little, like a Big Lots or like maybe like a, Walmart kind of store, something like that. That sells like a little bit of everything. I remember like music, like I said in the beginning, I'm a singer and music was like therapy to me and it still is. If it wasn't for music, like I said, I would have been, I don't know, I probably would have been lost in life. And not that I weren't, but music helped get me through a lot of situations. So I was like, you know what I would like? This was prior to that, a couple months prior. I was like, I'm going to get me a karaoke machine because then I could finally sing. I could, get in my little groove. When the kids are getting on my nerves, I just go and use my little karaoke machine and sing my heart out. I had my karaoke machine, and I loved it, y'all. I used to use that thing every day. And then my karaoke machine is like in the closet, minding its karaoke machine business. And I remember my dad came to visit, and he and Mom, they were in a disagreement at the time. And my mom would always, like in the past, like try to turn us against him. Like she would say things like, oh, he's the devil. And y'all are going to hell with y'all father and things like that. And we weren't allowed to like say we love him. Like, the mother turns father against, turns children against the father, that kind of card. It was always that. And then I remember my dad was on the couch laying down and he was like emotionally distraught. And he was laying down and he put a pillow on his face. And at that moment, I realized that he was crying. My daddy was tired of dealing with a lot of stuff. He was trying so hard to be with her and, get her to be, more cordial. But he was tired because I know that he wouldn't have been crying. I ain't never seen my dad cry, let alone even show any kind of emotion because he's not that type of person. But at that moment, I realized that my daddy was crying. I think I pulled a pillow off his face and I seen him crying. And that's when I said, Faith, you know what your mother is doing is wrong. And you know what she has been doing for years is wrong. And something said, Faith, y'all are always too scared to say, Mom, you're wrong. Y'all are always too scared to defend your dad or anybody else. Every time she would be like, whose side you on? Like she would do things like that. Whose side you on? Mother or your father? And we all were so scared. We'd be like, yo, we're on your side because we were too scared to say anything else. It was never that we agreed with her. At least I know that for me, but I'm pretty sure the other kids felt that way as well. So I was like, Faith, this is the one time that you need to do what's right. Don't do what makes you afraid. You do what's right. You do what's in your heart. Don't just say something just to say it because you might regret this for the rest of your life. And I'm at this point, I'm like 11 or 12, something like that. And she said, whose side y'all on? That ultimate question. Whew. Everybody got fear in them. Everybody was like, we on your side, Mama. Even the little babies that didn't even know what the heck was happening in life. And I'm over there. I said, Lord, I already know it's about to bring me a bunch of great amount of pain. I know there's going to be some type of repercussion behind this. But I was like, Mama, I'm on Dad's side. She said, what? And the rest is history. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We gotta find humor and everything. But so it wasn't at that moment where I suffered the repercussions. It was after my father left, because Mama knew that if he was there, of course she wasn't gonna do that in front of him. He leaves. I cannot remember how further along it was at this point. After, so kind of blurred, but she did the one thing, y'all. The one thing that could tear me apart. My little karaoke machine that was sitting in the closet minding its karaoke machine business. She says, I'm gonna hit it where it hurts. Oh, y'all used to me beating y'all. That ain't gonna hurt you. You're used to that. She said, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna hit it where it hurts. She goes and walks. She was like, oh, all right. All right. You think, oh, you gonna just stand up against me like that? Goes, storms to the back, and I'm just following her like a little puppy with my tail curled in. I'm like, I knew it was something. I knew something was coming. She gets my karaoke machine, she tosses it outside, and she beats it. She beats it, and she beats it, and she beats it, and she like tears it up in front of me. And I'm just watching her like, I know I'm not gonna be able to get another one. And I think I spent like $50 on it from Fred's. And at 11 or 12 years, that's a lot of money. And they don't sound like nothing to people now, but I'm just watching her, and y'all, as she was beating it, it felt like she was stepping on my heart. That's how it felt. It felt like she just literally ripped my heart out of my chest and threw it on the ground and stomped on it millions and millions of times. It didn't feel like a karaoke machine to me. It felt like my heart, and she knew that. That's why she went for my karaoke machine. And my little child mind never thought that she would have been strategic enough to go for that. But she did, and she hit it where it hurts. That's the ultimate pain that she could have. That was the ultimate punishment. I ain't gonna lie. That was pretty damn clever. But not right at all. And I'm just like, God, dang, that's what you get. You get punished for standing up for what's right. What world is that? Yes, that's also the world we live in, right? Yeah. So there's that. So that was in that same house, which goes back to why we didn't understand why she reacted that way. Well, I didn't understand why she reacted that way when DSS was getting ready to take us, when Child Protective Service came in to take us, because I'm like, this is the type of stuff that she did all the time when she got angry. So back to when they came in, they started loading us up, just piling us in the van, and they're like, where's your birth certificates? Where's all your information? And we're like, we don't have any. We don't know. We don't have nothing. And they're like, okay, they're just jotting down information. They're just piling us up in the car, and they're like, y'all just gotta get out of here ASAP. So they took us, put us in the van, and we got out of there, y'all. And we got out of there. Lo and behold, we was all crying. But we didn't realize that was the escape from hell, is what it was. It was the escape from hell, which was at no better timing. Could have been no better timing, which is why I would never deny God, because I know it was Him that orchestrated that. We get to, and this is just a little funny part, about it. We get to the actual office, I bet them people thought it was like a bunch of clowns that walk in there. We just had on all kinds of weird stuff. I had a scarf tied around my head like Tupac Shakur with hoop earrings in this big. One of my sisters had on like the smallest Daisy Dukes you could possibly see in the history of Daisy Dukes. One of my sisters had on. Yo, this sounds like a joke, but it's not a joke. Like one of my sisters had on a pant leg, like it was like a pair of pants. You cut off the leg, and she was so skinny she turned it into a tube top dress. So it was literally a pair of pants cut with her on like a tube top dress. And mind you, she's like, oh wait, I'm 30, and at this point she's like 5 or 6. It's funny now, but I just only can imagine what was going through those people's head. Like one of my sisters had a ponytail. We didn't have, like I said, we were very less fortunate. So I think I was the one who did it to her hair. But she had a ponytail, like 2 ponytails in her hair. And instead of having like a scrunchie in it, there was balloon string. There was balloon string tied around the ponytails to keep them together. Like, yeah, right. The struggle was real for us, right? But all our hair natted up, not being brushed, not being like, yeah, the ultimate. We were in the paper. A lot of people might remember this story. We were in the paper behind this. The newspaper people came to shoot snapping pictures and stuff. How embarrassing was this, y'all? It was like catastrophic type of embarrassment. All that. But yeah, we left. We got to the office, and then we're just sitting in there, and I don't know. It's weird because I think it was till like early in the morning when by the time we got placed somewhere. I think it was pretty much like daylight by that time. They had to find us somewhere to go, like an emergency type of find somewhere for us to go. So yeah, that was our escape from hell. Felt like hell, but it was a blessing in disguise. I know about those oh too well.